Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. How do we stop the I don't know? Let's get back to these questions. When a client keeps saying, I don't know, who's had that before? I'll put my hand up because I used to get it a lot. What's happening here? What are they telling us and what are they not telling us?
They're frustrated.
Frustrated? Why would they be frustrated? Maybe we keep asking the same question over and over, or sometimes they want to give you a better response and they get frustrated that they can't. Does that sort of make sense? Okay. What else would happen? Someone says, I don't know after every question. Yep, Helena?
They're sometimes looking towards, let's say, me. Tell me what I should think and what I should do.
Yeah, that's that attachment thing I was talking about. Like, Helena, you're supposed to give me the answers. Why are you making me do all the work? What else? Zoo, go for it.
Sorry. Actually, that's my favorite answer because it's always my way in.
Yep. Yeah, you can definitely utilize an I don't know. Absolutely.
Yes. So if they don't know, and I learned it actually from you.
Yep.
And I use that a lot, that if they don't know, that's a wonderful thing to say because finally they arrived at a point where they're not rationally trying to do anything.
Yeah. When a client runs out of an answer or answers, that's a good thing. It's awkward. I get it. When a client says, I don't know, what are they telling you? I don't have a resource based on the response or based on the question that you asked me. I'm in this place where there's nothing. That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Because if a client knows everything, they wouldn't have a problem, right? But clients run out of options, but get caught in that same thought loop, using the same resources and the same options over and over and over again, even though they know they shouldn't. Okay. So depending on where the I don't know is, tomorrow and the day after, the MAC training, the questions, that'll break this a lot because you'll be able to get more creative with the questions. Okay. That'll solve a lot of those issues. But also realize the I don't know is a really good place because it's a client saying, I don't know, I've run out of answers. Okay. What you don't want to do is when a client says, I don't know, do not ask this question because I will slap you through the internet. Do not say, if you did know, what would it be? Now we're having a bit of a joke with this. Why would that not be the best response to a client?
Does not help them go into their unconscious.
Definitely doesn't help. What are you asking a client to do indirectly by saying, if you did know?
Invent an
Make it up.
Yeah, yes, make it up. Yes, that doesn't help. Okay. So trying to have a client guess as to what they should know, waste of time. Everyone loves that question though, but it really doesn't help. So if a client doesn't know, and you can see them sitting there in some sort of unconscious moment, like there's a lot of cogs turning in their head and they're not getting frustrated, keep them there because they're in a moment. If they're getting frustrated and pissed off, it means the conscious mind will come up completely. You'll get a lot of resistance. Get more creative with the question, but almost catch yourself because it probably means you're asking the same question. The most common question everybody will ask too much is, what's the problem? That was one of my teething problem questions. What's the problem? How is that a problem? I used to ask that all the time and I hit a dead end all the time. Does that make sense? With MAT questions, you'll have over 75 different questions to launch yourself out of that. Has someone found themselves in that I don't know place with clients? Pretty common.
Can I ask a question if that's all right?
Of course.
So what would, rather than memorizing all, the questions that you've given us as examples, what would be, I know this is a weird way to say this, but what would be the construct in a sense? Like sometimes they're almost like your questions are confusing and that makes them go internal to think. Then other times there's like double negatives where you're saying like two negative things in a sentence that draws them in. I mean, how do you come up with these things, I guess?
Yep. I don't try and come up with them. I don't say them. I can't come up with those questions.
Yeah.
Think about it like this. Where was that question you just asked me before you needed it?
Unconscious.
So just go there
Getting in my own way again, right?
every time.
I'm glad this is all happening now, and I look forward to it.
Yeah. It's very, very hard. Has anyone met one of those awkward people at like a party or a pub or a club who you try and have a conversation with them and it just goes nowhere? It's like a dead end, it's really awkward conversation. It's because you're trying to force an unconscious response consciously. That's very, very hard to do. But I'm sure you've all had the opposite, where you have a conversation with somebody, 3 hours go by, and it's like you've been sucked into this bubble of just having a good conversation. You didn't plan those things. Okay. So if you want to get good at the questions, here's what you do. You've got a list of 75, read them out loud every day for 30 days, let it go. Then when you need those questions the most, you've learned it consciously, it'll go unconscious over time through repetition. When you need those things, you just have to get out of your own way and allow them to come up. The worst questions I ask are the ones I try and force to try and show off or be egotistical. That's that's a hard place to be. Does that make sense? Paul, Lyndon, go for it.